What's up, everybody? We apologize for the delays. Facebook was not being cooperative, but
at all, not even a little bit.
no, none, zero, zilch, nada. So hopefully you can get us now on Facebook or YouTube. But welcome back to Common Sense, the podcast. Today we're going to sit down again with someone who's mastered, and I mean mastered, the art of branding, marketing, and truly hustling to make an impact. Will Harris, owner of The Hustle Marketing and Design, has helped countless businesses take their brands to the next level, and he's not stopping there, you guys. This is the second time we've had him on because you guys love hearing Will's story and all that he shares with you guys. I mean, he's a public speaker, a podcast host, founder of the Hustle Foundation, which we're going to dive into today since he didn't get to talk about that last time. And I mean, that's a nonprofit that is totally focused on empowering people to grow and succeed and really support young entrepreneurs. So in today's episode, we're going to dive deep into Will's journey, his latest project, and some hard truths about what it really takes to thrive in this world of business and marketing. So you guys, without any further ado, welcome Will Harris back. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? I guess bad timing.
No, we planned that. We're just going to take care of it so I can do the intro and we'll just rock and roll because we're already running way behind. So
no worries. No,
welcome
thank you for
back,
having
brother.
me. I appreciate it. Excited. A lot of shit has happened since we've talked, for sure. So excited to dive into it.
Yeah, you've had probably more than anybody else I know since you were last on. More shit happen than anybody else I know. And you guys, like, one of the reasons I really love sitting down with Will and doing this and why I invited him back on again, aside from what I just said, is Will is legitimately somebody that I make a point to stay connected with. We meet up like once a month or every other month whenever we can, and our schedules line up because, man, I love to pick his brain and find out what's going on and, you know, just catch up, man.
Yeah. So never a dull moment.
No, with you, for sure not. Whether you're trying to stay alive or, you know, whatever else is going on in the hustle world.
Yeah.
So, man, last time we talked, you were talking about putting your clients at the center of everything you do. How do you build your marketing strategies around that core philosophy with them?
I mean, it's. I mean, I actually talked to a client today because he's thriving, and it's really just understanding their brand and doing something different than what their competitors are doing. And you know, I had the biggest kind of like successful moment today when one of my client's competitors literally mimicked the exact campaign that we put on for him.
That's
and
awesome.
So for me, it's like, okay, I see you, you know, and so it's that, and it's really just taking the time to actually care to dive in and deliver more than what we promise, and which we always do, because at the end of the day, our clients need to succeed for us to stay employed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anybody that wouldn't find that form of imitation the utmost compliment, really.
Yeah.
I mean, when they start trying to steal your game, you know you're onto something.
Yeah, you're doing something right.
Yeah, something's clicking. Well, man, I know you really excel at turning big ideas into actionable plans. Can you maybe share with everybody a moment where a seemingly impossible idea became a successful campaign, and what were the key elements that really made that work?
I mean, we can dive in on the foundation on that one, because we've already had some events that I really just pulled out last minute.
Yeah.
So, you know, we launched the Hustle Foundation, which we can dive into more in depth, but literally within a month of having it, I had the idea to, because Christmas was coming up, and I wanted to not only impact entrepreneurs, but also really establish roots in the DFW community. And so we wanted to give back to the community as well. And so within a month to 2 months of planning, we did a cannonball run. We partnered with Cars and Coffee, Texas Gun Experience, and then at the time it was Detail World. Now it's called The Refinery out in Prosper. And we did a cannonball run from the Texas Gun Experience to the Refinery with over 160 supercars, and probably, I think we did a little bit over $5,000 worth of toys, not including the cash donations. And
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that was that was one of those things where I was beating my head on the door going, why did I commit to this? Because I didn't think it was going to happen.
Yeah, you were super stressed out. I remember being around you that time period.
Weather was coming. It was supposed to rain. Like, it was just, it was a nightmare.
You were just starting to get back on your feet again and getting everything checked off.
Health issues. Yeah, it was nuts. So.
Right on, man. Well, I know that, man, like I told you before we decided, but we'll definitely dive deeper into the foundation. How do you handle failures in a marketing campaign, and what's your process for pivoting and staying adaptable in such a fast-moving industry?
I mean, you have to be transparent and be ready to pivot at any point. I base a lot of our strategies on a 3-month plan, and numbers don't lie. So just looking at analytics and then making a choice with the client and just being transparent with them and telling them, like, hey, look, this isn't working. We need to do something different. And that gains a lot of credibility and respect, because instead of us just taking money over and over for something that's not working, we may even give a strategy, a secondary strategy that's, doesn't make us as much money, but that's fine because the client is actually able to succeed doing something different. Right
on. Is AI really disrupting what you guys are trying to do right now, or how is that affecting you guys? Because I know a lot of people are ate up right now with trying to figure out how to utilize it, whether it's just a tool or if they're totally replacing people or parts of their company with this. Like, how's that affecting you guys?
It's a great question, and I get asked it a lot. AI can be disruptive. It can. But the thing with AI is it's the strategy portion. I can have it, do a graphic, build a website, whatever that is. But the human factor into it of actually like putting together a strategy and doing something that's uncommon about everyone else is a huge difference. For an example, a gentleman that I had a meeting with, he sold the false teeth, the veneers.
Yeah.
And so, but he was kind of like a one-man show. So he was literally going into these dentist offices and doctor's offices on his own. And so I told him, being transparent, I was like, dude, you're not doing anything different that somebody else is already doing. Like, you're going in there, you're a male in a female dominant world because, pharmaceutical sales and everything like that is mostly women. And you're competing against that, and it's not, that's not the way to go. So you're going to have to do something different. Well, AI is not going to tell him that. And so I told him, I said, get you an edible arrangement, send it to a dentist office, and the only thing to put on there is a QR code that just says, bite me. That's it. Don't put any branding, don't put any logo on it, just put that. And I guarantee you'll get a meeting. So he sends it to the dentist office. Everybody in that dentist office scanned that QR code, because you can read the QR code. And everybody in that office scanned that QR code, and it went to his landing page, talked about what he did, and he actually got the meeting to actually sit down and talk with him.
That's awesome, man. Like that. That's the things I keep telling people when it comes to the communication side of what I talk on and everything else. It's just like your cell phone. You got to treat it like not a lifeline, not a replacement, but a tool.
Yes.
And if you can use it to help you in areas that maybe you didn't think about, or to give you ideas, but you still got to put a personal touch on it.
Yeah.
Because when a lot of the customer service went overseas, what's the number one complaint you hear? I can't get anybody on the phone that speaks English.
Yep.
Or I can't understand them.
Or
their accents,
long hold times.
Yeah, or the hold time. So if you can use them as tools and still be personable and give a personal touch to things, I think those are the people that are going to dominate with the AI. I definitely think there are people that are going to have issues with their jobs that, AI can do it better, cheaper, quicker,
copywriting
faster.
for one.
Yeah, but like at the same time, it's going to be a great tool for some, and they're really going to excel when they learn how to use it fully and can still put a personal touch on it.
100%.
You and I have talked about this a little bit, and I think this is probably a good place to throw this in. What about social media? How do you think social media is changing, and how are you guys adapting to the changes in the algorithms and like everything that's going on with social media right now?
Social media is finicky because you have a lot of variables with it that, between algorithms, between regulations.
Won't take your stream key so your podcast can start.
Yeah, it won't let your podcast start live. And then the human factor. The big human factor for it, is some people use social media for what it wasn't intended for. And so like you have to take all that into effect on your strategy and what you're doing. But at the end of the day, it's just being relatable. It's giving, that educational moment that people need to hear because they don't know, and people don't know what they don't know, and teaching them something, but teaching them something in a way to where it's interesting for them to follow. And that's the biggest key. And, as a business, putting out that content and being out there to where you're not, the instructor, the instructor or lecturing somebody can really help a business grow.
Right on. With the rise of digital marketing and social media, how do you see traditional marketing techniques evolving, and what trends are you guys watching real closely right now?
I think, and this will ruffle some feathers, but I think, print's taking a dive, because how many people are, they used to make furniture for magazines, the magazine rack back in like the 90s and 80s. And now think about like how often do you ever pick up a magazine?
True.
You're always looking at your phone, or you're on the computer or Kindle or iPad, whatever it is. And so I'll have clients that come up to me and they're like, I want a billboard. Why? The problem with billboards, and I'm not saying billboards don't work. I think billboards have a place in your marketing strategy if you have the budget as well. But the problem with, especially like a static billboard, and static being like it's a billboard with like vinyl on it, doesn't move, it's not digital. They're really, from a data standpoint, I can't tell you who came to you because of that billboard. Now, digital ones can give you impressions to, how much traffic comes by and impressions and such. But at the end of the day, I still can't tell you that billboard is what brought that business into you. So it's just hard to measure unless you're asking literally every client, how did you hear about us? And people do that, but I can tell you, if I get asked that, I usually just click whatever the first button is just so I can get through the prompt. And so your numbers are skewed, and it doesn't help you from that aspect.
True. So with the Hustle Foundation, let's dive into this, because I know this is a passion project for you. I know you're trying to grow it. I know it's, fresh out the gates in 2025. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little about what the Hustle Foundation is all about and how it's empowering other people to grow, and what inspired you to start this foundation, and how did you bring that vision to life? Because I know it wasn't easy.
A lot of it, there's a lot of things that inspired me to do that. One of the things, and I feel myself going down this rabbit hole of a rant, but one of the things is like entrepreneurs don't have a lot of support. They just don't. It's not educational systems. They don't really teach true entrepreneurship. It's a model that's not, education model is not for everybody. Not everybody's made to just go, to be in corporate, or not everybody's made to have a 9-to-5 or, whatever. And they're just not wired that way. But there's no real support system for that type of person. So we've built a curriculum that people will actually go through, and we've done pilot testing. So it works. Well, at least it worked on, the people that we've sent through it so far. They'll go through a 3-month program with an ebook. They're assigned a mentor in their industry that's successful. And after the period they go through, we've identified their pain points as a business where they need help at. And then we provide funding to whatever vendor can support that. We don't give funding directly to the student or the scholar, just because we want to be sure that money's allocated correctly. And then after the fact, we don't want to just kick them to the curb and say, all right, good luck. We have a networking group called Connect that they automatically fall into, and in that way they can stay in touch with their mentor and other people as they progress with their business.
how do you balance that? Because I know my experience in entrepreneurship and what you hear a lot about is you got to see where that edge is. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, and you kind of got to step over that edge to know. And sometimes you need those failures to learn some of the lessons. How are you guys balancing that with these young entrepreneurs? Because I know that's a critical part of it.
Because the young entrepreneurs have already, so to qualify, you already have to have a business.
Right.
So they've already undergone some of those failures.
Okay.
And this is, this is a selection process. It's not just anybody can apply, because the business model has to make sense. And so going through that, the key to it is, and I agree with you, the failures does help.
Yeah.
But there's some failures that, we can also agree on that we could have both done without.
Absolutely.
If we had the right mentorship and gone through and may have been 2 steps ahead in a certain time frame.
Yeah, I mean, that's what this show is all about.
Yeah.
If you can time collapse a little bit, or maybe you want to start a marketing agency, maybe you listening to people out there listening to you tell this story, maybe that lets them learn some hard lesson that you went through. And hell, man,
went through a
if
bunch.
You don't have to go through it. You don't have to go through it.
Went through a bunch. And so, and like I said, entrepreneurs don't have a lot of support. And going back, you were talking about social media and, the changes of it. And I talk about the people and the variable of that. Man, Facebook is used for a lot of just complaining. I'm from Shreveport, and I love it there. I've real estate there. My family's there. I have friends there, and I'm sure this happens in other places. But majority of my Facebook is Shreveport people, and man, they'll tear down a restaurant just for one bad experience, and it's just like, have you talked to the owner? Okay, it's a small town. Like, you can reach the owner.
Yeah.
Have you done your due diligence to see if they can correct it instead of bashing them on Facebook
or giving them that 1-star review?
Dude, well, it's not even that. It's literally a whole post shitting on this restaurant or this business and saying, "Oh my God, I had the worst experience. They took forever to bring me my meal. Don't ever go there." These are the same people that probably complain why taxes and unemployment are so high, because they're not looking at the big picture of this. Yes, you're mad at that one waiter, but you doing that, you now affect all 20, 15, 10 employees in there, including the owner, without even giving them an opportunity to correct it.
Yeah.
And it's stuff like that where entrepreneurs have trouble, because as a startup, you can't afford to have reviews like that. And maybe you made a mistake and you just didn't know and didn't have the right mentorship. And that's what we're trying to prevent.
Or maybe you didn't have the opportunity to even make it right.
Exactly.
Maybe it was something that could have easily been made right.
100%. And that's what's going on. A lot of these entrepreneurs or business owners, they don't have the opportunity to just make it right. And so it's, if you would have just called, you probably would have got a free meal. And they said, "Hey, you know what? I'll give you a better experience. Come back."
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and I think that's key too. You talk about the mentorship pairing. That's probably the number one thing that people will message me about or come up and ask me about is, how do you know so-and-so? Or how did you get so-and-so on your show? Or you've talked about mentors and stuff. How do I find the mentor for me? Mm-hmm. And that's not easy. That requires people to go out and build relationships and kind of put themselves out there. But even if you do that, that doesn't guarantee, because of social media and stuff, I think there's a lot of smoke and mirrors out there, because you see this person that just because they're part of this group, they're showing you all the flash and the cash and the cars and bullshit and everything else, that you perceive them as successful, or someone that's doing what you think is what you want to do or how you want to live your life. And that's not always the case.
Not even close.
And to find a true mentor that can help you, you're also looking for somebody that's really good at the things you're not good at, or that has already done what you're trying to do. And depending on what your industry is or what your business is, that could be really challenging. I mean, I don't know how, Biz, I mean, when you started off in photography and stuff, I mean, outside of the classes and stuff you took and really just trial and error and learning and doing all this stuff, like, how'd you find your first mentor for photography? I mean, to go find a top, like, I mean, I'm just trying to think of Ansel Adams or, you know, or whoever it is you're trying to be like. How do you find that?
You follow the guys that are already doing it and just kind of try to mimic what they're doing, you know, what you deem successful. You just mimic them, and some were cool about it, some were assholes about it. They wanted to gatekeep. Didn't want to give up the secret sauce. Others was like, come on in, man, let me show you what I know. Because when you're in a smaller community, everybody's crab to the barrel. Don't nobody want to outshine nobody else, so you take from them. When you get in a big freaking pond like this, there's plenty of food to eat.
Yeah.
You just got to find the non-gatekeepers.
Yeah. What's your guys' criteria? How are you finding mentors to pair with these people? And what happens when you have the person that gets accepted that you don't have the right mentor for? How are you guys approaching that? Are you going through your network, or is that maybe something that would limit somebody from getting in because you don't happen to have that mentor right then and there for them?
The first thing that I'll say, and this is going to piss some people off, but the audience needs to hear this. If you're paying somebody, they're not a mentor. So I've heard way too many people say, oh, I have a mentor, I pay them so much money.
That's a coach.
That's a coach, that's a consultant. That's not a mentor. Mentors are people that actually want to help you with nothing in return. They've made it, they've done great, and they want to pass that on. So I want to be very clear with that in this conversation. With us, I have tons of mentors. So as soon as I launched the program and people heard about it and seen it, I literally a line of people just waiting to mentor younger generations. And so it's never been an issue with us. And that's been heartwarming and fulfilling and just exciting for the most part. So now the problem isn't finding mentors. The problem is distributing out, because I have more mentors than we have scholars right now, which is, you know, that's a funding thing. So as soon as we get more funding, we can run through more scholars through our program, which, you know, we're working on and growing day by day.
Right on. So as a marketing expert, I know you're great at building brands and helping people market, but how are you applying that same skill set to the nonprofit world, and what changes have been there for you in that, and for you to truly be able to give back?
So the nonprofit is actually, I'll tell you, it's been easier. For one, I feel like I found the secret sauce for a amazing sales team for the marketing side, and they have dedicated their time to the nonprofit side. So kudos to them, because I have an amazing team. With that being said, everybody loves a feel-good story. And there's a lot of nonprofits out there, and there's a lot of amazing nonprofits out there. But then there's a lot of nonprofits out there that are smoke and mirrors. And we are able to show what we're doing and where that funding is going. And so that helps a lot. And so a lot of people want to be involved, and we're doing a lot of events as well, again, like I said, to help the community. One of the things that we're going to be doing next quarter is we want to give a scholarship, a dollar amount to a year or younger food truck, where the benefit comes from that. It goes in a circle. The catch will be, or not catch, the criteria will be, we're going to give them this scholarship, but that scholarship is going to go towards them serving food to a local homeless shelter. And so we're giving back to the community, but we're also giving funding to a food truck that probably wouldn't have made that amount in that day, because he's a startup and he's just learning, and he gets his name out there. So it's doing events like that that are really just getting awareness of people seeing, like, okay, the Hustle Foundation is actually trying to help the community grow.
Right on. What can people do that want to be a part of the Hustle Foundation? Whether they want to be a sponsor, or they want to talk to you about mentorship, or maybe they have somebody that they want to recommend for the program.
They can easily they can go to the website, which is, you know, the hustlefoundation.org, or they can just go to the Instagram, and it's hustle.foundation, and they can just send us a DM, and we'll gladly put them with somebody, a rep, to talk to them about whatever it is that they want to do or help or contribute.
What other events do you have coming up that people could look into or be a part of?
We have a golf tournament June 13th. We're doing a Grapevine course. So we have sponsorships, whole sponsorships, looking for players. It's going to be a really nice tournament. We're excited about it. We'll have a live auction. And so that's been really taken off. A lot of love for that. And then recently, as of last night, we met with James and Deborah Ferrari. And for those that don't know, they're nationally known artists in the DFW area. So Deborah does a lot of abstract art, it's really beautiful. And then James takes, now get this, takes Ferrari parts and builds sculptures with them. And they're gorgeous stuff. And so they're partnering with us to throw an event. It'd be like a exotic car meet, but also like a gallery night and everything, October 4th, and then we're going to do that from 5 to 9. So we'll publish that on the website and on on Instagram as well for an event. So,
that's badass.
Yeah.
And don't you have another big one coming up? I don't know when you plan on doing it. Are you ready? Can you talk about it yet?
The gala?
The gala?
Yeah, we have a gala on December 18th.
Because everybody in DFW loves going to galas.
They do, and this is a Christmas.
They want to put their tuxedo on.
This is a Christmas
show
gala
off
too.
A little bit.
Yeah, this is a Christmas gala, so we're excited about that one. And again, proceeds are going to scholars. We're doing it at the Renaissance Hotel in Legacy West, and so we're our donors and everybody, they, we want to give them appreciation as well and treat them for all the work that they've done, the mentors. So we're pretty excited about that.
Hell
we
yeah,
have some
man.
really good speakers that are coming.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And for the record, I mean, I plan on at least having a team out there for his golf tournament. If there's any of you watching that are listeners that are local here to DFW and you'd be interested in going out, maybe playing some golf and being a part of his golf event, hit me up, because I'm gonna fill a team up for this and be out there with these guys. Because, man, like I've told Will many times, anything this guy's getting involved in, it's something like that gives back and whatnot, I'm all in on.
I will not be playing.
Well,
I play at golf. I don't play golf. I play at it.
I think that'd be fun to watch. I think you should be like the pros set up on the hole, and everybody gets to play a hole with Will.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Maybe just putt for him.
That's not golf. That's entertainment.
Yeah, it's got to have some of that. Still good marketing. I mean, you know how many highlight reels we probably get from that?
I don't know if I'd call them highlight.
I mean, that blooper shit goes off, man. Well, that's really amazing, man. Like I think that's really awesome that you've taken that next step and you're doing that and doing it the right way. I mean, I've had one or two people, one of them that came on here talking about their foundation and stuff, man. And if it hadn't been live, like, I'd find a way to go back and edit that shit, because once you started digging and I started getting comments and stuff back, it was like, man, is this really legit?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on here? Like, so, I mean, any of y'all got questions for Will about this or something, man? Like, he's great at responding. Hit him up on any of his social media or the website. Reach out to him. Ask questions. I mean, he is a real open book when it comes to that. So I encourage you to do that before you, like, just start diving off into these things. But, because there, like he said earlier, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors out there. And don't fall victim to that. There's too many scams and bullshit going on. Y'all hear about the toll tag one now? Have y'all gotten one of those texts yet?
Oh, yeah.
They're sending you a text saying that people are randomly sending you a text saying your toll tag is not linked or won't do whatever, and that you owe this and that you can settle. And people are just clicking that link and sending them money, dude. Left and right.
All you got to do to keep from doing stuff like that, if you pay attention to the country code, I think for the toll tag it's +63. And that's like India.
Yeah.
So if you pay attention to that, it's like India's not collecting U.S. toll tags.
Yeah.
And so it's just, it's simple stuff like that. But it got a lot of people.
Yeah, it's crazy what this come to. I mean, I even had a robo. I'm still not convinced if this was a real. I don't think it was AI, because I think AI is smart enough to have proper pace and tone. And this guy got through my office staff, got to me the other day, and I literally said, hello, this is Garrett with Element. How can I help you? This dude went into the fastest pitch I have ever heard in my life. He started, like, vomiting of the mouth and did his whole spiel, and, like, I mean, I could barely even understand him. I mean, it was so fast and so much information. I was like, yep, not interested, man. Thanks. Click. But I've never heard, I mean, who does that work on? Like, you call and you don't say, hey, how's it going? Or, you know, no courtesies, no get to know you, no fill you out, no, hey, this is who I am. Just straight into the spiel.
I think the goal there is to cause panic to where you just make that knee-jerk reaction and do whatever it is they say to do.
Well, he was trying to sell me like some...
Yeah, and it's older people, sadly.
This was a young kid that was like...
No, I'm saying they're preying on older people.
Yeah, this wasn't one of those. This was literally one of those where he was trying to sell me like a funnel. Like he wanted to sell me a funnel, that they've got a funnel set up to give us all these pre-qualified bids and all this in a space that we don't even operate in. I mean, shit, I learned all that in like less than a minute.
You mean it wasn't a coaching program he wanted to sell you?
No, it wasn't any of that, but man, it was insane. I was just still kind of blown away by the whole approach and how fast they spewed it out there. But anyways, let's get back to it. So you've created a culture at The Hustle of constant learning and growth. What does that mindset mean for you, and how has that shaped your journey in becoming a business owner and a public figure?
I think so. For me, it's really gave me a sense of purpose. I've really enjoyed helping people grow and really doing the teaching and the education, because I've had people ask me, you know, if I'd sit down with them and teach them how to start their own marketing company. I'll share the playbook. I don't care, because at the end of the day, my passion is to help others in any way that is. And so from my team to clients to even my parents, I've had the blessing. My parents did amazing raising me up. Okay. They didn't know what they didn't know. So, you know, college, and that's just kind of how that criteria was back then. But I was able to get back to them and teach them entrepreneurship, and now they're into real estate because I got into real estate, and I've taught them things to do. And it's, you know, it's things like seeing them, and I don't, you know, other than their happiness and seeing them enjoy the journey and the challenge, that's all I get from that. But that's really all I need. So shaping me as a person has just really, it caused me to do it more. And that's why I started the foundation, because I was doing it so much from the marketing side. I could only do it so much without, you know, driving the business to the ground, because the marketing has to make money as employees.
Yeah.
And so to do it on a much bigger scale, that's, you know, ultimately one of the reasons why I started the foundation, was so I could have that bigger outreach to do that.
What does that look like for you, though? Like, how do you go about personal growth and learning? Like, are you a guy that just reads a ton of books? Do you journal? Do you spend a lot of time going to other like masterminds or classes or courses? Like, what does that look like for you at this point? Or maybe what did it look like in the beginning, if that's changed?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of masterminds. I'm just not. They're good at the beginning of your journey, but at one certain point, they all the same, and they're all just, you know, for hype and get you excited. And so, you know, every entrepreneur went through a rough time. That's why they started a business, divorce, somebody died, you know, whatever it is. Okay. So I would say it's more of my circle. I have a very successful circle, which a lot of my circle does extremely well. And, you know, and they mentor me, and that goes back into the whole mentorship. And so, you know, constantly asking questions, having valuable conversations. I'm not a reader. I try. I suck at it. I just do, because my mind is, I'll read something and then my mind's already going like how to implement it. And so that's really hard to do. I think it's, you know, just putting myself in areas with other people and just listening to their stories, but just not to where they're presenting their story. It's just talking to them and understanding what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think that's really guided me the most in doing that. And then just me learning from, you know, my employees and my team and what, you know, what fuels them and motivates them.
I agree with you. I think we're very similar in that manner, although I do try to read. I go through big spurts, but I cannot process that stuff like in huge chunks. Like I have to take it in small doses. Like I might read a chapter in this book, chapter in that book, and like that's it. Like, and then work on that for a while. And I know a lot of things I've been seeing lately is a lot of people talking about like, well, pick that one and stay with it till you truly master it. It's the same as these people that go to all these courses and they take all these copious notes. They don't ever review those notes after they leave the event. They don't implement any of the stuff. They don't take any action. They stay right there. It's mind-boggling to me, but I'm the same way. I mean, it's the reason I started this podcast, because it's the conversations, the building the relationships, and getting to meet those people that you learn, I at least learn so much more from.
And I love networking.
Yeah.
Networking is probably my favorite thing to do. And going to events and just talking to people and hearing their story. And I think that's probably my biggest success is doing that.
Are you a big journal person? Do you write a lot? What's the creative side do for you? Because I mean, I know you're into all kinds of different things. Like,
well, I think I get my creative side out of the strategy portion and writing down different strategies. I do have a book that I write down different strategies randomly, and then when one makes sense for one of my current clients, I'll pitch it to them and say, hey, we should try this. But I think that's really it for me. As far as like drawing or, journaling, I just, to be honest with you, I don't have time.
yeah. Right on. All right, before I forget, because I know, and I'm getting low on this one already since we smoked quite a bit while we were waiting for Facebook to cooperate, but you guys always want to know what we're drinking, what we're smoking. We've been rocking. I had coffee first. Yesterday was a little rough, but I can't let him sit over there and drink by himself. So we're both going down the Buffalo Trace route. So that's what we're drinking. And as far as what we're smoking, Biz, you're gonna have to help me here because I don't even know what this is. Anhilo.
Anilo.
Anilo.
There you go.
Anilo. So we're smoking our boy Jamon's new Anilo.
It's really good.
It's really, really good. Like, if you guys like the Genesis, this is very similar, but a little more potent, a little more kick to it.
It'd be good with coffee.
Yeah, it's great with coffee.
Well.
And it's great with the bourbon, too. Like, I mean, it's nothing to be sleeping on over here. And then if we get to the second one, which I'm sure we will here in a minute, they still have the Panda up here right now, so you guys know I'm going to smoke this till they're not here. So, I mean, that's another one that, do you know, Biz, did Jamon collaborate with anybody on this, or this is just Jamon? All right, right on. Well, this is a collaboration with Luciano, so this is something Luciano's still putting out, and Panda, so there you guys go. That's what we're drinking. That's what we're smoking. I saw a hashtag you had on, I don't remember if it was your website or one of your social media pages, but you said hashtag We Grow Together movement, and that promotes inclusivity and personal growth. How did you stay connected with that mission, and what advice do you have for people struggling to stay motivated?
Oh, that hashtag goes a long way from where I started the business, started the company. Because when I first started, some of my clients that I had started at the same time as me. And so it kind of dawned on me, I was like, we're going to grow together. And as even though at the tier that we're at, we're still growing, and we're still growing our clients because we have to adapt, because we don't just target one industry. And so, we're doing roofing companies, education, airlines, all across the board, all different industries. And so we have to take the time and educate ourselves to learn that industry before we can become productive for our clients. So that's where that came from. And it stands true to this day. We have a 95% retention rate with our clients. And that's because we take the time and dedicate the time to really learn what they're doing and help them out. So we just picked up a client today, which we're excited about. I'm excited about. called Nickel Mania out of Carrollton.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a arcade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I used to go there as a kid, man, when I first moved down here.
They've been around forever.
It's been there forever.
They've
I didn't even know it was still around.
Still around, still going, and we've partnered with them. I'm taking the whole team Tuesday to go play and be like some kids and do content and learn their ways and like and so and that's what we do. So we
I might have to swing through for this. That's nostalgic right there.
Yeah. So they're still very much in business.
What was your game back in the day?
Mine was the basketball game.
The basketball one where it catches on fire and stuff when you start getting on fire? Yeah.
I was never good at skee ball, sucked at that.
Street Fighter was
Pac-Man.
one I was really into.
I'm a big Pac-Man player.
Yeah. Yeah, Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, man. Mortal Kombat was the shit.
I used to, this is no lie, my parents back in the day, they were very like cautious on games. And so when Blockbuster and Hollywood Video were around, they would have the games in the little box. So I'd switch the games out and put Mortal Kombat in the game and rent, what Mario or whatever, and rent that one and take it home and play it when they weren't in the room.
I'll tell you one of the things my wife and I love to do is we got a Nintendo Switch, and literally the only game we play on this is Mario Kart.
Nice.
And there's nothing better than sitting at home on a Friday or Saturday night. You can drink whatever you want, and you can go up there and drink and drive and play Mario Kart for hours, man. It's awesome.
That and GoldenEye, we used to play the heck out of that.
Oh, GoldenEye, man.
In college.
That's the only game that was ever good that came out on that system.
Yeah.
That's his damn ringtone.
Yeah, that's my ringtone. I have that as a ringtone.
That's what we used to play in college all night.
Dude, GoldenEye was killer. Yeah. That's the only first-person shooter game. Did I say that right? Because I suck at that stuff. First-person shooter game. That is the only one I've ever been good at.
Yeah.
Halo, I was okay if I got the sword. But, man, if guys got that sniper rifle and set up shop, man, I'm toast, man. Like, I don't know how they do that shit so fast and just... I mean, I hate, what's the other one that's real big? Call of Duty.
Yeah.
That game wears me out. I feel like every time I generate, some dude is right there and just annihilates me. I just died and I get regenerated and I'm getting killed again. By a 7-year-old talking shit. And I'm like, I'm ready to throw the TV off the rails. Yeah, it's crazy. I'll never forget, too, that, man, this was a while ago. It just made me think of that when you were talking about Pac-Man. My cousin's kids, which are all in high school, one's about to graduate high school. Fuck. They wanted some game for, I don't even remember what system it was, but I remember my wife and I stopped right when we got into Cincinnati, and I was looking for this game. I think it was like Lego Star Wars or something. And I saw that they had redone Frogger and Galactica and a lot of those old games that were on Atari.
Yeah.
And I literally said to my wife, I was like, man, that is so awesome. They're bringing back all the Atari games. This is going to be awesome. And there's like a 10-year-old with his mom, and he heard me, and he literally looked at his mom and was like, Mom, what's Atari?
Yeah.
I was like,
made you feel old.
Fuck, I feel old now. Like, wow, that was a blast.
Me and my dad has a couple arcade games at home, and we will go to war playing Galaga and Pac-Man just back and forth, man.
Dude, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Defender.
Yeah.
Asteroids.
Yeah.
Well, what was the other one? Oh, Spy Hunter, where you can drive the car in the back of the semi truck and hide for a minute, and then you come back out.
Centipede and Dig Dug. Way before your time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't play Centipede.
That was Galaga time, though. Galaga, Dig Dug, all that was about the same time.
That's awesome, man. So what would you say to someone who feels like they don't have the resources to pursue their dreams, and how they can begin to build momentum in their personal or business journey?
It's an excuse. I mean, I'm not trying to be an asshole. It's just there's so many resources out there now for someone to build a successful business. There just really is. If you want a free CRM, use HubSpot. You want a free project management tool, use Asana. You want a free email campaign system, use MailChimp. Like, there's just so many opportunities out there. It's just, Are you willing to like put in the hours and stay up late and not go out with your friends and not do certain things
And learn how to use them.
and just learn how to use them? And with YouTube now, like when I started my first couple of businesses, that stuff didn't exist.
Yeah.
Now you have YouTube, you have everything out there that you could possibly use and be in front of the world with social media. Like there's just no excuse not to do something as long as you have like a logical business model. If you're trying to make millions of dollars, selling something dumb, then okay, it probably ain't gonna work for you. But if you're doing something that's has an impact on people and maybe it's a life hack or maybe it's a service that's going to help people, there's just no excuse anymore. There's really not.
I'm interested to know what's your favorite CRM tool right now?
We use HubSpot.
HubSpot?
Yeah, we just use it. It's just too easy. I love their phone app. Because it's just easy to do, the communication between people. Now it's a little bit on the pricier side. It is, there's a ton of CRMs out there. A good friend of mine, he built his own CR system that's amazing. The only reason we don't use it is because it's just a CRM system. We use HubSpot for the other functionalities as well, but you can look it up. It's called Evolved Metrics, and it's an amazing CR system. It's priced very well, but there's tons of CR systems out there to work, and ultimately they all do the same thing.
Yeah, it can just be overwhelming. So I like asking people that I know have tried a lot of them and found ones that work for them.
I've used a bunch.
Yeah,
and so
it's like spending the money, just like the editing. I mean, you guys have heard me talk about this, like the difference. Like when we first started trying to edit shorts, we started out with Munch. Munch was okay for a while, but Munch just hasn't evolved as quickly. Yeah. And Munch wasn't as easy to use. It wasn't completely user friendly. Yeah. We switched over to Opus Clips. Opus so far, I'll give them all the props in the world, man. Opus has been badass. I mean, it's connected things. Like, it got me to connect my LinkedIn. I never, ever in the first 2.5 years thought about marketing my podcast on LinkedIn. To me, LinkedIn was still just this.
Dude, I love LinkedIn.
Look for jobs, post your resume, talk about work-related stuff, and no shit. It had me log in on LinkedIn, started putting them up there. And man, every post we've put out there pretty much gets 400 or 500 views right out the gate, just starting posting. You know how long starting out on Facebook or YouTube it took to get 400 likes on a single post, even a short?
LinkedIn has an amazing algorithm. I love
it's
LinkedIn.
Great. It's great.
Love it.
And it's evolving.
Yeah, everybody should have a LinkedIn.
Yeah, if you're not messing with that yet, like, I highly recommend you guys dive into that, because like I said, I would have never thought to that. To me, it was still the old school, post your resume, look for a job.
And if you can afford Sales Navigator on LinkedIn, do it. I think it's like $100 a month, but it's powerful. It'll connect you with people that you don't have access to.
So I know from talking to you that you've mentioned that you stay calm when faced with adversity, and I know you're like ice cold sometimes when some of this stuff's happened. I mean, it's absolutely amazed me with all the things you've personally gone through in the last 8 months alone, and I've never seen you waver. I've never seen you lose sight of what you're still doing, who you are, any of that stuff. I mean, what specific practices or habits have you put in place or developed that give you that level of calm and focus?
I don't know if it's stuff I put in place. It's just that I truly have my team comes first, period. I had major surgery in 2024 from putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, and it almost cost me. And the day after surgery, I'm literally on my phone checking on my team, checking on partners and employees, and hey, are you okay? Do you need anything? What's going on? And I think it's just that care of other people's success that really drives me.
Yeah, It really truly is an impressive quality you have. Like, I think the reason I asked that question, I kind of figured how you were going to answer that, but it's still impressive to me because I don't see that often. Like, I remember I texted you just to check up on you.
Mike almost died.
And you're like, yeah, you sent me a picture from like the hospital. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're still under anesthesia or
I
something.
probably was.
And like, or at least on pain medicine.
A lot of selfies.
And you like send me the selfie. And like, the dude's laid up in the hospital, just had a major fucking surgery. And he's like, I'm good. I almost died, but like, I'm good. I'm still with us. Like, let me catch up with you a while. I'm like, bro, like, my bad. Like, I had no idea. Like, I was just calling to see how you were doing. Like, we hadn't met up in a while, and I know you'd been traveling, and you had all this other stuff going on. But like, is that just something you think really was influenced by your parents, like all growing up, like? Because you maintain this real like laser focus, and like you're really good at like separating the minutia and what's important, what's not important, and
I think yeah, I would definitely say, you know, a big part of that is from family, from my parents. You know, growing up, they were, you know, amazing parents, and there was a lot of things that we went through from a large scale of stuff and history, and they never lost focus on, you know, what was important. But also, you know, seeing other people undergo things, and I knew I didn't want to be like that person. Now, don't get me wrong, I've definitely made my mistakes and made decisions that were very poor, which cost me what I thought at the time was friendships and stuff. But moving on from that, it was really just you know, kind of just a kick in the ass of the person that I really wanted to become, and leave like that mark on the world of like, hey, you know, I'm here because I actually care to be here, and not because I'm just trying to benefit from other people's gain.
yeah. Isn't it amazing? Like, the more you push, the harder you try to work on you. How many people you find out that you thought were friends really don't want to see you succeed, and the minute you start succeeding at something, like, you learn so much. Well, and that circle just starts changing and evolving, especially as you go through the decades growing older.
It's more than just that. So one of the things that I've learned too in making, because I've made some colossal like mistakes of decision making in my personal life, and you know, it's one of those things like, I want the friend that's going to hold me accountable.
Yeah.
I don't want the friend that's like, oh, well, you messed up, I don't agree with you, I'm out. That's not a friend.
Yeah.
I want the friend that's going to hold me accountable. He's going to lecture me. He's going to kick me in the ass and say, dude, you don't need to do that. That's wrong. Don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And I learned very quickly the difference between a friend and an acquaintance. And that will really help young entrepreneurs in their success, because a true friend is actually going to want you to succeed. The acquaintance is the one that's probably going to be jealous of you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always a hard balance. You know, that was something that took me a long time to learn, even though I think I saw it at a much younger age because I moved every 3 years. So I was constantly making new friends. But then you move somewhere and you think of your best friend, you know, at different age points. You know, you think about that growing up in your formidable years, especially like the 12 to 16, 16 to, you know, 19, those time periods and stuff like that. And you move and like, you're the only one calling and like, hey man, how the hell are you doing? Like, what's going on? Like, what are you doing for spring break?
Yeah.
What are you doing this summer? You want to come visit? Like, let's figure something out. And like, and then you slowly realize like, well, fuck, there's nothing coming back.
Yeah. I have a rule. I literally have a rule with people. If I've invited you to something 3 times and you've canceled, or I don't hear from you, I won't invite you to anything. No, you can invite me and I'll show up, but my effort's done.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not going to do it anymore. And I get it. Shit happens. Life comes up.
Yeah.
But at that point, after 3 times, like, you should show some effort too.
Absolutely.
And so.
And that's the whole building relationships thing, man. And so many people think just showing up is enough. I mean, I see this more and more, especially with the younger generations. Like, they think just showing up is enough. And it's like you can be present and participating without adding any value.
Yeah.
If you're not trying to add some value or see where you can help others, even if you don't think you have much to offer, being present and listening, like actively listening and trying to help or trying to connect people, trying to network, that makes all the difference in the world.
Well, anybody can show up because they didn't have shit to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like I didn't have anything else to do, so I came. I got to figure out these signs too because I've done this. I think it's the wrong sign for a drink.
No, I think they're confused because Riley's back in the house tonight. Like,
Okay.
Riley showed back up. I think everybody. Yeah. You're good. Yeah. It's funny. We had to change that because we used to do this. Hey, I'm down. I need another one.
Okay.
That's the only thing that's signaled with Riley. And it was like, hey, yeah, I want another one.
Yeah, so I was like,
But
I'm excited. It's not working.
I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't work. So, you never know what you're going to get. But at least he's checking on us.
Yeah.
I mean, we're 0 for 2, but, we'll get there. Can you maybe share a story or a significant challenge or setback that you faced along your journey and that you overcame that you really think was like a pivotal lesson that maybe other young entrepreneurs would relate to?
God, I have so many. I really do. I mean, like it's constantly going to hit it.
Yeah.
So the thing is, it's constantly going to hit you. So something that happened with the nonprofit,
Okay.
like recently, and then the point of this is like you're always going to have people that are, especially on social media, they're going to try and tear you down. They're going to do whatever.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah, and so we had this guy that I don't even want to say he just.
Yeah, let's not give him too much limelight. I know where you're going with this now.
He was involved in some way, shape, or form. Okay, we'll just say that, and it didn't work out. And I've never met the guy.
Yeah.
And he all of a sudden just attacked the nonprofit, and he started posting on all of our social media platforms, calling me out by name, wheels embezzling in the nonprofit, and he's taking this and he's taking that and yada yada yada. And my first inkling was to, first off, if you're going to attack somebody on social media, don't do it to somebody that owns a digital marketing agency, okay? Because they're gonna fire back. And
is that the time you thought about buying a billboard?
Oh yeah, immediately I had all these remarks and responses. I even called my dad, and I was like, just saying them out loud. But anyway, I breathed. I took a time. And I was like, first off, nobody's going to believe this, and because all the things that we've already done, all the donors, the mentors, the followers, everything. Nobody was going to believe this mess.
Yeah.
And so, I said, you know what? I'm just going to delete the comment. I'm going to block the guy, and just be done with it because it was irrelevant. It's truly a nonprofit. I make no money off the Hustle Foundation, none, and I don't want to. That's not why it was built. And so it took a moment. It did, like, trust me. But at the end of the day, you're going to get that. And young entrepreneurs starting off, before they prove the success of their business, they're going to get that all the time. They're going to get people that are like, oh, that's stupid. You're never going to make it. Like, they're going to talk behind your back. And that sounds childish and it sounds cliche because you hear about it all the time, but it's true. It's going to happen.
Yeah, the other guys that are failing in their businesses do not want to see you do something that they weren't able to do, for sure.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, his comment was shitty because he's only punishing people that are being helped.
Yeah.
And so,
because shit didn't work out for him.
Yeah, it didn't work out for him, and for personal reasons, not even business reasons. It was a personal thing. And,
that's why y'all, just so you know, like, we're dancing around this because this is actually personal, and we don't want to put anybody on blast in any way, shape, or form. But you can see how something personal attacks a business.
Yeah, and it's a shame, but we worked through it, and it was it didn't affect us one bit. I didn't get one message from anybody. You know, I even, you know, we have a board. Everything is voted on by our board because I wanted everything to be like really legit.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I told the board, I said, hey, look, this is what happened. And they just laughed. They're like, whatever, you know, and that was it. And so, and we moved on, and it didn't even cause a speed bump in our journey.
It's hilarious too when you really start digging in, even on that stuff. It's always those like basement keyboard warriors and stuff, and the guys that are complaining and calling you out, guys, girls, whatever, that they have way more skeletons in the closet and just
they do
mounds. I mean, like Mount Everest of skeletons.
Yeah.
Yet they have no problem attacking, and like the dumbest thing ever. Like again. Why are you going to attack a guy that specializes in marketing and branding and all of this? Like you're asking for the nuclear bomb to be dropped. I mean, I hope that if you're going to ever do that, you better have your ducks in a row, because you're going to get stuff brought to light that you don't want brought to light.
Everything's on the internet.
Yeah.
Everything.
You can't get rid of it.
Can't get rid of it. You maybe can hide it, but if you dig deep enough, you can find it.
How are you coaching? This is a problem you battle on many, many different levels, whether it's social media, your marketing. I mean, it could be so many different areas, but the younger generations are so caught up, and really the world, I feel, is kind of like training us for this instant gratification. Everything's short clips, everything's bam, 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 bam. How are you teaching these young entrepreneurs and stuff to deal with instant gratification and still keeping their long-term vision and focus and not getting caught up in that? Because you also see some of these guys that maybe they do have something really great, and right out the gate, they start making it big. I mean, I listened to a guy at an event literally last week or a couple weeks ago, Vince Del Monte, in the personal training space. And
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Isaac from the Love Book.
But he got caught up in that. I don't want to say really it was instant gratification, but he had massive success and got caught up in this stuff. And it's a big part of what version 2.0 of Vince Del Monte is now, and how he's coaching people on it and everything. But like, how are you working with that? Because I know you face this. I know I face this. Like, how do you deal with that with them and coach them on this?
So the instant gratification portion is rare. It doesn't happen often. But again, this is where social media is toxic, because people see people blow up, and it looks like they blew up overnight. And one person, I have tons of stories and that I use for young entrepreneurs. But one story that the younger generation can relate to is the comedian Matt Rife.
Matt Rife?
Yeah. And so he on social media, he came out of nowhere, like guns blazing, funny, whatever, big following. But listening to his story, it took him 11 years before he got to that point. Like, he did stand up for like 11 years, and people don't hear that. So it's explaining it to them. People like, and this is, big time, but like Joe Rogan, he was a bouncer in a club. Like, it took him years to get where he went. Now you're going to have, your 1%, 0.5% people that hit it big overnight. Like, it's going to happen, but the chances of it are like almost impossible. And so I tell them, don't focus on that. You got to focus on the longevity of it, and really focus on like long term, because that's when it's really going to happen, when you stay consistent with it.
Oh, we got Clay in here. We got some comments now. Sorry, guys. I've been wrapped up in this, so I haven't been paying attention to the comments as much as I usually do. Don't listen to him, Garrett. I'm your boy. And Clay, I don't know what you're talking about. You're going to have to explain that one, bud. All right, marketing and branding. Those are really competitive spaces. What risks did you take early on in your career, and how did those pay off in the long run with the marketing and branding?
I mean, the biggest risk was I moved to Dallas to start a marketing firm.
Yeah, I mean, I bet that competition is a lot smaller in Shreveport versus DFW.
And there's great marketing companies in Shreveport. There really is. But it was one of those things, like, on the level that I wanted to play on and be on and learn from. And I stole this from one of my partners. She said, punching above your weight class, and I love that saying. And so for me to punch above my weight class, I wanted to come to Dallas, where some of the biggest marketing agencies and firms exist. And I'm like, if I can make it in Dallas, then that I have a career in this. Yeah. And so that was the biggest risk, knowing that, there's a high chance that I could fail, but I have to do something different that these marketing agencies have been doing for years. And so that could be intimidating. But, when I first moved here and one of the apartments, condos, whatever they call them here, going to the office when we had offices at the time, I passed by the Richards Group building every morning, and I would look at it and be like, I'm going to take some of y'all's business.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds arrogant, but that was just my motivation, like, every morning doing that.
No, everybody's got to have a little bit of that.
And
if you don't, you're in the wrong game.
Yeah, and that was, to me, that was my competitor. That was the level I wanted to play on. And I actually got a chance to bid against them in a project. And, I finally got that opportunity to where it was like, all right, let's see where we match up at. And you're talking about really punching above your weight class, because in that meeting, for a bid, you had the Richards Group and you had all these other companies that were in there that were just huge. And here you go, you got a little hustle, in there, hopes and dreams. And, we put our bid in and we won the job, we won the work. And the first question I asked, because I didn't want to be the cheap guy, I said, did we come in the cheapest? And they're like, no. You came in the second to the highest, but we loved your strategy and what you were willing to do. And that was my moment of, like, I did it, when we carried that on. And that was my drive and motivation to really keep going.
I think everybody has to have a little bit of that dog in them, that little bit of warrior mentality of that. Like, it's not that you want to, destroy the other competition by any means, but I mean, one of the greatest things that happened to me in my career at Element was one of my partners, before I made partner, that was like my direct supervisor, as I was transitioning from just estimating into full-time sales, everybody at the company had this, big client. Like, they had their big one, their big fish in the bowl that was their main guy, and then they had a couple other small to medium ones as we were first growing.
Yeah.
And he came to me one day and he asked me, he said, who's going to be your big client? Who are you going after? Like, you need to get a basket of them, but who's going to be your big one? And then you're going to fill behind that with a bunch of small to medium guys.
Yeah.
And then hopefully down the road, you get another big fish in there. And I'm thinking about the guys that are already taken, they're off limits, like the other sales guys and him have these X clients, XYZ. And literally the only client I can think of that they don't have at the time was a company known as Lincoln, that's now called Lincoln Property Company, which is one of the biggest in the nation. And happened to be somebody that I had my first couple apartments with when I was living in apartments. And I didn't really know any other name to say at the time. Lincoln's now Willowbridge for my multifamily people. I mean, it's still really hard. They were that for 50 something years, But when I told him Lincoln Property Company, you know what he did? He laughed at me. And this was a guy that I considered a big brother, you know, still do. You know, we fight like brothers, love to hate each other, and, you know, like, we go at it. But, like, he's been very influential in my life, and especially my career. And he laughed at me. It was like, good luck, bro. You know, the last 10 years, I've tried to get over there. And there's this guy that's in charge of construction over there. God rest his soul, Ken Schwartz. Y'all have all heard me talk about him before. But he was like, good luck. Yeah, you're wasting your time. And I was like, challenge accepted. Like, I'm going to be the dog in this fight now. And I did. Like, y'all saw Darnell on here, and Darnell confirmed this. I bugged the shit out of him for, like, 3 years. And he finally got tired of me just, like, constantly napping at him, you know, going, hey, man, what do I got to do? I don't give a shit. Like, give me stair treads. The smallest thing you give me. Like, I just want to prove that, like, we do good work, and that, like, I can be in that pool. Like, I don't care what it is. I'll do the pain in the ass stuff nobody else wants to do. I don't care how small, whatever. Just give me an opportunity. He's like, all right, fine. So he tells me how to do it. And sure enough, it took me 3 years of persistently grinding on that account. And it's one of my number one accounts. You know, like, I did it. But, like, I think especially young entrepreneurs, you got to have that. And you need a little bit of a chip on your shoulder of, like, hey, I'm going to knock off one of these big ones. Like, you have to have that.
Yeah. Jealousy, doubt, people, you know, saying you can't do it. It's free motivation.
It's just like sports, man. I mean, you see these guys, like all the media outlets before a big game, they start pumping that stuff out there, and those guys are all using it as poster board material. It's just getting them more hyped and more hyped. I think you have to use that in a very positive way. It's very impactful if you can, like, I mean, aim high. Yeah. I mean, what do you have to lose? Like, pick someone out there that you think is impossible. Whoever that client is, it would be your dream client, man. Start following them. Start pinging them. Start liking their stuff. Make them want to know who the hell you are, that you are so on it.
If you're truly passionate about what you do, you'll stop at nothing to succeed. I mean,
absolutely.
Period.
What do you think's maybe been the most difficult decision you've had to make as a business owner? And how did you come to that decision when you made that decision?
One of the hardest decisions, and I mean, this came right to me. One of the hardest, well, I'll start with this. I tell people, if it's easy for you to fire somebody, even with cause, then it's probably the wrong position for you. Now, I'm not saying, like, keep everybody, don't fire people. I'm not saying that. But when you let somebody go, it should still, you should feel something with it, regardless. No matter what they did, you should feel something. Because you're not just affecting the person that you lay off, fire, whatever term you want to use, but you're affecting families and whatnot. We went through a time where, and this was just me learning, we had all of our eggs in one basket for a big company that I thought would never go anywhere. Okay. And they did. And it was because my team did such an amazing job that they took everything in-house. And it was a huge revenue cut for us. And so I had the decision. I was like, I can take a pay cut as a CEO and keep the team whole, or we can go status quo and I can let one person go and everything stays the same. And that can be a hard decision, and not from like a salary thing on my part, but just wondering what the business is going to do, what's going to happen, because just because I fired that person doesn't mean in 3 months I have to do it again. What I decided, though, was I'm going to use that as motivation. We're going to keep the team solid. We're not going to let anybody go. And we're going to double down on our sales and marketing and really push to make up for that revenue. And so 3 months went by of doing that. and adjusting salary. And we did it. We came out of the gate and we hit it hard. I hired a really good sales team, doubled down on it, and we made it. And we're doing better than what we did before. And that to me was a huge success because, again, our team is very close. It's a very close-knit team. And so the last thing I ever wanted to do was let anybody go. And I have people that are still with me from day one, 7 years ago. And that speaks volume from a company.
Absolutely.
And so that was a hard decision because I've never been in that position before. So I didn't know what to do. And I had mentors, and I asked mentors, and they were giving me, some were saying do this, some were saying do that, but none of it lined up, and nobody was on the same page of what to do. So I literally had to think on my own, like, okay, we got to figure this out. And so that was probably it.
Was that hard to get buy-in from your team on? Even though you're saying hey, I'm not we've got to make some changes, but I'm not letting anybody go. Hey guys, we're all going to have to take some cuts. We're all going to have to do X, Y, Z.
I didn't, nobody else took a cut.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
But just getting the buy-in on that, was there any, did anybody have doubts? Did you have to overcome anything in that process?
No, it was more like a decision, a decision being hey, I'm going to take a cut. We're going to get through this. And this is what we're going to do. Here's the strategy. Here's the campaign. So I had a plan with it before I presented it. And so the buy-in was there. Everybody was on board. And at the time, which is crazy, and I'm not saying this will work for everybody in any industry, but we hired people during that time. We hired salesmen, and we built a more elaborate sales team. And
what gave you the confidence to do that? That was the right answer? You're bleeding money. Half of your mentors are telling you hey man, you got to cut some ties here. You got to downsize. Other half saying no, go now's when you go all in. How did you balance that?
For me, it was just, if I'm going to build this and do it the right way, or the right way in my mind, I'm going to go full throttle with it and just go. The people are scared to lose money, and it's a logical fear. But at the end of the day, you can always make more money doing something else. And heaven forbid, worst case scenario, where, just say recession hits and the planets align and the craziest things happen and the hustle was to fold. Okay. I would walk away knowing I did everything I could do to keep everybody employed, that were good employees and that were loyal and that were dedicated to the brand. And that was my mentality. I'm I owe this to them. And they've worked long hours. They've worked, on the weekends. They've dedicated everything to me. I'm doing this for them. And so that's where my motivation came from, because I truly love my team. I have some of the most, personal friendships with, some of the team members. I do team outings. And so the last thing I wanted to do was break that team apart. And so it was I was going to stop at nothing to not be able to not have to do that.
Were you always that willing to just burn the ships and, hey, I don't care if this ends in bankruptcy. I'm going to go all in. I have to. I'm going to strap myself as the deepest I can go to not fail. Have you always had that?
No.
Or is that something that grew along the way? Because I've always found that part of our conversations powerful, and just, man, you have it's a no fucks given. Yeah. I'll burn the ships. I'll do it all, man. I'm just going to take it on. There's the dog in you is no backing down.
Yeah. other businesses, it was for money, and so it's very like P&L driven.
Mm-hmm.
The Hustle brand was never that way from day one. It's going to be very team oriented, very culture driven, and it never changed since day one. So no, I've not always been that way. But when I started the Hustle, and the whole hashtag "We Grow Together," the tagline, everything about that brand was going to be, we're going to do this, and we're going to see where we can take it, what we can do, and we're going to grow this thing, no matter what it takes.
We're all in.
We're all in, and that's the entire team. And so,
and I can tell y'all, man, I've met several members of his team randomly when I think it's just me and Will hanging out, and here comes 2-3 others. He's good at that.
You're like, gosh,
I'm like, damn, man, I wasn't ready for this. Like, what am I getting here? But no, I mean, and they are, man. Like, you truly have built an amazing team. What was that hard to build that team or to find that team?
Oh yeah, to build a team is not an easy task. I'm partnered in a construction company, and we're going through interviews and stuff. And geez, man, the workforce now is awful, so bad. I
didn't even know this. We're gonna talk more offline about this.
I'm telling you, if there's an hour in the day, I fill it with something.
Yeah.
And so we're in the interview process trying to find a sales guy, and it's a salaried sales position in construction, which is not common. Most like roofing companies, they have, it's commission only type thing.
Yeah.
And I was set up for 3 interviews. Nobody showed up. And I was just like, and so anyway, it's hard to build a successful team. It really is, because you don't want somebody to come in and disrupt your other people, but they also have to have the skill set that matches what you need. And it's really just building that culture. Unlike Nico with the Mavericks, where they traded Luka because of the culture.
I was afraid that was going to come up tonight.
Oh, I'm bitter.
We're all bitter, man. This is the dumbest business decision in sports I've ever seen in my life. Do they already know that we're not going to get gambling pass, and the Mavs are just going to Vegas, and it'll take a year or two, and then Dallas will have the next franchise back again, and Mark Cuban will probably buy it, and we're going to go again. I mean, that is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. Luka is better. He's a top, I'm going to say top 1 or 2. We can at least agree on top 3 at his position in the NBA. And I don't give a shit if that's fat Luka, out of shape Luka, whatever. He's a once-in-a-lifetime, once-in-a-generation player. Yeah. And we got jack shit. We got a guy that is top tier at his position, but he's in street clothes more than fucking Luka.
Dude, I waited.
First game with us, and he goes out. I saw a game. We talked about this earlier. We couldn't even substitute a player on the floor because there was nobody healthy on the bench.
There's nobody on the bench.
We went from a championship team to, I don't know if we could even compete in the G League right now.
We might forfeit.
I hope we do. Can we lose every game from here out and at least have a really good shot at a top lottery pick?
Yeah,
please.
It's bad. I waited 2 years for the season tickets that I have, and I'm letting them go. Because not only did all that happen, but they've raised ticket prices. And they're saying 8%, but I did the math on mine. It's not 8%, 8.6 or 8%. It's like 10. And I'm just I'm done.
Yeah.
How can
you not be?
Yeah.
It's I got to that point with the Cowboys literally this year, and I was like, I'm going to sell my season tickets. I'm just done with the bullshit. But I'm not going to take a loss.
Yeah.
You can't sell when it's in a low.
No. Yeah.
How do you... man, yeah. It's tough being a Dallas sports fan, period. Unless you're just sticking with the Stars. Let's go Stars. That's the only thing I'm rooting for now.
Yeah. Can we take a quick timeout?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it. What it do, Biz? You want to hop over here? Hop on, because I know you don't have a mic tonight. We put him in timeout since he erupted my intro that I worked weeks on last week. He wanted to throw me some shade, make it hard for me.
How was that throwing you shade when I was actually giving you props?
Because you cut me off mid-sentence.
Because I was so astonished by it. I was so captivated by it that I had to say something out loud.
Captivated that you couldn't even let me finish. I see how it is.
Yeah, my wife says I cut everybody off too, but what do you do?
All right, we're not going down that road.
No.
So what's up, bro?
Hell no. Nothing, man. Just trying to survive. We were late today because it was partially my fault because I keep forgetting we live in Dallas, Texas, and traffic be trafficking. And just when you think, okay, I got 1 hour to get to where I need to go, it's not enough time.
Hey, I got something I want to talk about with you.
Oh, shit. Go for it.
Since we were talking about basketball.
Oh, God.
I loved your post earlier this week, and I love this debate. I want to slap Jesse around a little bit for you, but...
this dude,
come on, man. So I'm so tired of this debate.
It is, and I never thought it would come up in my house with this next generation of my children, but it did. To my oldest son, we got into it about this, but he was pro Michael Jordan, so we were more agreeing with it. But my 16-year-old is pulling up all these BS stats and all this other crap, and he says it's the LeBron James versus Michael Jordan conversation we had. And he's then he said that what almost got the shit choked out of him is because he said that Michael Jordan in his prime could not hold a candle to the weakest NBA player of this time. And I damn near open-handed slapped him in the mouth and just
I'd had
go to your room.
But I'm sorry, how can we not pause if we're going to go MJ?
We got to ask Will this question.
We were going to, but MJ to LeBron. MJ to LeBron. Where the fuck's Kobe? I told him Kobe God
was
rest
better
his soul,
than LeBron.
but the Mamba
I told him Kobe was better than
put
LeBron.
LeBron to sleep.
Will, your turn.
I just don't understand that. I get so tired of hearing this bullshit basketball argument. I love basketball. I don't watch a whole lot of it because the game's slop now. I wish college basketball was what it was in the 90s where guys stayed and really tried to build powerhouse programs and be ready for the NBA. And you only had one or two that went out, the Kobe rule and all that stuff. But this whole LeBron James shit, and I'm not hating on LeBron. LeBron is great within his own rights. But LeBron had to recruit and market and brand and do all this shit to win championships. LeBron ain't single-handedly done jack shit. In my opinion. Kobe? Before they start talking about LeBron's better than Michael, where's Kobe?
I'd put Kobe at number 2.
Yeah. It goes Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, then we can talk about LeBron James. But this younger generation wants to catapult LeBron James over Michael Jordan and all this stuff. And granted, they had great guys around them. But you know what great leaders do? They get great people around them and make themselves better.
People want to play with them.
Yeah, people want to play with the greats. All right, you are not allowed to bring any more for me. You can bring him all he wants. Y'all trying to send me down another path.
Hell no.
Y'all know that's the number one complaint I get. You're mixing things up now and blah, 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 blah. And I'm
that's my fault.
Hey, be you.
That's my fault.
Do you. Y'all don't you don't have to listen. You can get the fuck off the podcast. I don't care. Do you. Do you think people are still spending money in this economy right now on marketing, or how are y'all doing with that? Because the economy is fucking crazy right now.
I think it's a mix. People are pulling, some people are pulling back. Some people are trying something different because they don't know. But honestly, majority of people have been pulling back from what I've seen because there's a lot of things going on. And people are, they're worried, and it depends on the industry, depending on if you voted for the president or not voted on the president, not being political, but it's taking a turn, What I tell my clients is, because they've asked me, they're like, hey, do we spend money on marketing or do we need to pull back? And I'm like, yeah, well, if you pull back, you're doing what your competitors are doing. So, you can market and get ahead of this, or you can, quote unquote, play it safe and pull back and do what everyone else is doing.
So how are you balancing that? I mean, you just told us a story about one of the hardest times you had, and when you thought it was all going to shit, you burnt the ships and hired more sales guys. Yep. So the economy's going to shit. People are burning the ships. They're scaling back. How are you combating that right now?
Just really doing things different on a marketing side, like for our clients to succeed. I have a construction company out of Shreveport that we work with. He sold 8 jobs this week alone off the strategies that we gave him. And that's the same client that somebody else is now mimicking what we're doing. And it's just doing the things different, because you have to look at your audience and your clients. Are they spending money? And some people just don't let stuff disrupt them if you have the right audience. A great case in point is when COVID happened. So I have a very big history in oil and gas. COVID happened. Midland did not change. There was no mask wearing.
Roughnecks didn't wear masks?
There was no.
Are you serious?
There was no 6-foot stuff. There was no hey, we're going to shut down this bar. Things didn't really change out there. It's its own world. And so, companies were like, well, we're not going to.
It truly still is the wild, wild west.
It is the wild, wild west. And, I love it out there. It's true people and people in oil and gas. If you ever get to Midland, go to the Shack. That's one of the most famous bars out there. And, it just depends on what your audience is doing. And that's, as a company and a marketing agency, that's what you have to know. Are they still?
And go to the Cork and Pig out there if you got there. That's my favorite restaurant I've ever found in Midland, Odessa. They have them up here now too. They're branching out now.
Oh, you gotta go to the original though.
But go to the original. It's everything you'd want it to be. Yeah.
So I tell my clients, look, you can take the risk, do out of the norm what other people are doing. Let's understand what your audience is doing. If they're buying and they're still willing to talk and do business, then there's no reason to pull back.
All right, I'm going to dive into some more fun, lighthearted questions since we've gotten pretty serious. I tried to hit all the points.
He says more serious. That means he's drank more.
No. I said lighthearted. I felt like the earlier ones were a little more serious, but seriously, we've touched on a lot of ones, because I'm not shitting you. The short videos we put out, man, the hustle stuff was, man, people responded to that like crazy. It was really amazing. Kudos to you, man. People loved what you were putting out there. But the hustle is all about working hard. But what happens when the hustle stops working? Have you ever hit a point where you felt like your strategy wasn't working, and how did you shift it?
God, man. I bought a supercar.
I knew he was going to go there.
I did. And there's debate.
Shit's going bad, and Will Harris buys a supercar.
There's a debate that an R8 is a supercar or not. But this is not a car forum, so we won't get in that conversation.
We got a lot of car junkies. Yeah, they're going to love this.
I did. I bought the car strictly for branding. 100%. I didn't buy it for attention. It's Dallas, okay? There's a Lambo in every block. I bought the car.
Why didn't you go Bugatti? Come on, Will. Yeah. You're the hustle, man.
Yeah, I'm wearing a $12 T-shirt. Trust me.
Hey, I wore my boots because I knew I couldn't outkick you today.
There you go.
I wore my boots. I was like, he ain't going to come in boots.
No, I ain't
At least my boots can be better than his Jordans or whatever he's going to come in here.
I can't do the boot thing. So I literally did. And I will tell people, when you get to a certain position in life, I bought the car to get to certain rooms, to talk to certain people, and it 100% worked. The Cannonball run that we did was 100% because of that car. It really was, and it got
You
me.
couldn't have shown up in your Tesla?
No, I don't have a Tesla. Let's get that. We're gonna square that away very quickly. I do not have a Tesla. But it really got me in conversations with people that most people that own those cars, they own businesses. And I can tell you, I've owned that car for 7 months. And it's, it's a hefty monthly bill. It is. I financed it for 3 years because I wanted to be sure I was never upside down in it. And I used that car to get in front of certain people. And now that car is 100% paid for through marketing and clients because of the clients that I've met. 100%. And so and so there's no regrets there. And then from the foundation side, it's really, really helped because of purchasing that vehicle. It's done the foundation wonders because it's helped us in the car community. A lot of the people in the car community has really bought into the foundation and donated to our scholars, and it's been good. And it leads me to my next thing. Buying things like that, if you use them correctly in your strategy, it's a win every time. Watches is another thing. Buy the watch that you want because it can really start that conversation with people that you may not normally talk to, because that's your first way to start is hey, I like that watch. I have one too, or however you start that conversation. But it gets you in that room with people to really grow business.
I have the perfect example of this, and you're absolutely right, and I'm so glad you went there with this. I literally pulled into the gas station by my house 2 days ago, and right next to me is a jacked up, badass, blacked out F-250. And I see this guy get out. We both start pumping gas, and I'm looking at it, man. And it's got straight up. I forget what it said. I'm gonna try to get this guy on the show, but it had full on decals on it, military grade pictures and stuff like ghosted out in it. And I was like, hey man, sorry to bother you. Your truck is amazing, man. Do you care if I take a picture of your tailgate and stuff? Because I have some friends that are operators and stuff, former operators. They would eat this shit up, man. Is this something Ford's doing, or did you just? No, I have a company that does this. But then he starts telling me, he's like, well, I've got a foundation. I do all this stuff with military. Were you in the military? Yeah. Thank you for your service, man. Tell me more about that. He's like, yeah, I was a special operator as well. Blah, blah, blah. We didn't dig real deep, but then he was like, what do you do? And I was like, construction. He's like, oh, and he named one of my competitors. He's like, oh, yeah, my daughter dated the son of one of your competitors and all this stuff. And it turned into a great conversation over pumping fucking gas. Yeah. And I saw this guy's truck, but literally the truck is what started the conversation. 100%. I would have never have talked to this dude unless we ran into each other, literally, physically ran into each other. I would have never have stopped him to talk to him. But his truck caught my eye. I was like, man, I have a lot of friends that would be totally into this type of thing. Tell me more about it. And man, in 5 minutes, I know that this guy has these companies, was an operator, a vet, has a foundation, is doing a big trip with taking a bunch of former operators and veterans on this big trip. Oh, yeah. Wants to talk about it. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go, man. That's it right there. But yeah, utilized right. It's just, man, balancing that though. Yeah, I think you're absolutely onto something there. You got to have the right intentions, and you got to be using it properly. Yes. Because there's so much of this fake bullshit from influencers. I love the line. I'm going to call you out on this because you said it earlier when we talked about masterminds. And you were like, I am not dealing with any motherfucker that does not have a Bugatti that says he has a mastermind. Yeah. Because the reality is that's right. You can't just get a Bugatti. No. Even if you have fuck you money and can buy a Bugatti, there's a wait list. There's all this other shit. No leasing options. You can't lease a Bugatti. you can lease a Hurricane, you can lease a Lamborghini, a Ferrari, you can lease all this shit. And half of these fake motherfuckers on here, on all this bullshit, putting it all out there, they can rent the $50 million mansion for a weekend.
Yeah.
They can post up and take all these like pictures and do all this shit, but like that ain't real. But that they're selling y'all the dream.
Yeah, they are, and I fell into that. I'm not, and I'll be very honest. Young into my career, I was posting dumbass stuff on Instagram, like with watches, and I didn't go to the extent of renting cars or anything like that. But I had this like whole signature dumbass post with a cigar and my Rolex on and a shoe, and it made me nothing. It made me look like a fool. And so I stopped doing it because it was just ignorant. And so even with the car, like I'm very strategic with it. Within 3 months, I picked up 5 clients of that car. And
dude, you sold out the Cannonball Run like right out the gate.
Out of the gate, and for a good cause.
Yeah,
all that money went
Toys
to
for Tots.
Yeah, Toys for Tots, and the money, the toys, everything went to Toys for Tots, and it built so many relationships. The photos and everything that came out of it were amazing. It was just a feel good story, and so it was just it goes back into what you're saying earlier. The reason for doing stuff, that was for a good reason. It wasn't for attention. It wasn't for clout. It was literally a strategic play to do something and build like a movement for the foundation to where people would understand for awareness. And it worked.
All right. I feel like this is important because I want you to give your perspective on this. And I'm asking you as a friend to forgive me. I'm blaming you for the alcohol if I say this wrong because I know how private and personal you are with your private life. But I think a lot of young entrepreneurs and people in general should know this. You have a very strategic strategy with your family and your personal life.
I do.
And I think that's important. And I don't want to say too much and ask this the wrong way. I think you know where I'm going with this. Can you share a little bit about that and how you keep that? Because you still have to have a balance between all the things you involve yourself in and the amount of time that takes, the time it takes away from your fiance, your family, your personal time. How do you balance all that, and what advice in that realm would you give other young entrepreneurs or people in general? Because I think your look is very unique on that, and I think it's very on point.
So I've been very strategic in relationships in the past 2 years. I've had relationships in the past. I've been married before. Which was, showcased all over social media. And then, with the relationships now, I did it differently. And it's worked out. It has. Because it's not a forced outcome. It's like a truly, effect of happiness. It's understanding. It's communication, it's trust, it's credibility, whatever the terms you want to call it. And it has worked out best for me because, golly, man, there's just, my mind's just racing of so many reasons why. From an Instagram account, majority people that you may see on social media that are happy, that you think that are happy in relationships, chances are there's ongoing issues. People never post the issues.
They don't post their shit.
No, they don't. And why would they?
They're showing you the glimmer.
Yeah, exactly. And so I have understood that I enjoy keeping those relationships private. Because if something happens, we have a conversation about it. We communicate about it. We take care of it. Also, the other thing is just people attacking, and it's kept that away. People going after a significant other, people going after families, whatever. I've deviated from that, and it has worked out for the best. And I would strongly suggest, I thought this was a myth, but like the evil eye, like that's a crazy, like when I first heard it, I was like, man, that's crazy. But
that's a little out there.
Yeah, it's a little. Are we
gonna talk about flat Earth next?
Yeah, it's a little out there, but like part of that I feel like is some truth to that of jealousy and people that just want to get involved, and so we've exercised different ways on social media, and it's really truly worked. We'll do snippets of like posts or stories or whatnot just to like let people know, but outside of that, it's not in your face.
You can put you or your brand out there, but like I agree with you 100%. Like that doesn't all. And I've said this many times, and she'll probably chime in. I know she's watching, but like my wife is very private.
Yeah.
And we keep it that way, man. Like y'all, I mean, I'll talk about certain things, but there's a lot of things I'm not gonna put out.
Yeah, and there's no reason to.
There's no reason to, and a lot of people that make that mistake because the social media world,
you feel like you have to,
says be real, be authentic, do these things, talk about those struggles and stuff. All right, well, there's certain struggles, yeah. If it's business or your personal development or growth, but like leave your relationship shit out of it.
Yeah.
Like, and I hope I asked that the right way with you because I know how you are. I mean, I feel like you're right in line with my wife, man. Like, and I did not want to like.
No,
but like, it's important, I think, for the young people to understand that, like, we've all made those mistakes.
Yeah.
And put too much out there.
You put too much out there, and you open the door. I'll be honest with you. The most when I'm able to scroll through Facebook, the entertainment I have is the shit some of the people put out there about their relationship, and I'm just like, Jesus, man, I can't believe you.
Yeah, why would you ever do that?
Yeah, I'm just like, man, like, and so like I wasn't. I was going to try something different and not do it because I've heard so many people about that, and there's certain influencers out there that are the same way, and you know what? I don't regret it. I absolutely love it.
And I know that about you. That's why I wanted to ask. I hope I did it the right way.
Yeah,
I didn't want to like tread on your space there, but like I feel like that's really important for some of you young entrepreneurs.
It's one
less battle you're going to fight.
It's one less battle you have to fight. And then, society now with social media, they try to make you feel like you have to do it. And you don't. Like if your account's about business, then leave it about business.
Yeah.
And just be done with it.
Because we all see these idiots, man. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, that's one of the things that, like, I'm not going to get myself in trouble here. It's one of the things I love about my wife, man. Like, I never in a day in my life have had to worry about my wife. Like, my wife handles her own. Like, 100%. Like, and there's been times that, like, damn it, I wanted to step in, but I'm like, fuck, I'll go to jail. And she's already, like, iced this. Like, just let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. But, like, I mean, there are a lot of people that struggle with those things, and they compromise their own relationships.
Yeah.
Because we can all say, like, man, if I post some super hot picture of my wife, ain't no dude on there looking to see that she's got a big ass rock on her hand and that she's married.
You open the door.
They give 3 shits.
You open the door. And
you're opening up Pandora's box. And they're going to come in there and say whatever they want. The only thing you're going to get from that is you're going to be pissed off.
Yeah.
And what good is it going to do you?
No,
so
reason.
why put the dumb shit out there? All right, I'm really excited about this question. Like, when I came up with this, I was like, I cannot wait to see how Will answers this. So, if you could have any superpower for one day, to help your business, what would it be and how would you use it?
If I had a superpower,
Any superpower.
to be able to tell the future, because I would literally send out pitches to every ideal client saying, marketing wise, this is what's going to happen in 3 months. And then they would come to me.
And then you're just set.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd
you
be
just
it.
roll with
Yeah.
it. All right.
But
all
then
right.
also I could help my current client Sue, like saying, hey, this is how we need to pivot because this is going to help you in 3 months.
All right, fair enough. That was way too easy for you. I thought we were going to get something really cool. Like you were going to go like off the deep end. Because I know you have the friend with the comic books and shit. I was hoping you were going to like really like stretch that one.
Oh, he yeah. So he's doing extremely well. There's no future for, I mean, there's no future guessing for him because like for what he does doing selling Marvel cards and everything else, and we're talking about a client that owns cool cards, but he there's what
I
he
just
does,
figured
people
being a
love that.
Louisiana Cajun boy, you were going to like do something with, I was secretly hoping, I guess, that you were going to use Gambit and like try to like parlay that some way.
He needs his own show, man.
He
needs
does.
his own movie.
That movie's gotten scrapped so many times. Like, I'm ready. Like, thank God it
His own
came
movie.
out. What was the recent one where you...
Deadpool.
Deadpool. You
Deadpool
got the
versus
Gambit.
Wolverine. Yep.
And, like, that was legit. His Cajun accent was a little
A little off.
off.
They could have
but
done a little better.
It's like when you see, like, like, why is it that you watch movies nowadays or most TV shows and, like, short of like My Big Fat Greek Wedding, you could have like a Greek family and they have British accents. Like, can you not find a
He was
Greek
fighting a little bit with it.
actor
Yeah, he was
that
fighting
can
a little
like actually have a Greek accent? Like,
Yeah.
it's mind blowing to me, like what Hollywood is doing right now. Like, how do you not like? Do you think we're that dumb? Like, how does everybody have a fucking British accent? And that's just like universal language.
All the bad guys have British accents.
Yeah.
All the villains have British accents.
You know what I loved that I heard recently? What's the difference between a superhero and a supervillain? One's a warrior and one's a destroyer. One is trying to help people and one's trying to destroy people. But everybody has a balance of warrior and destroyer. But what do you let dominate? Thought that was pretty solid. Anyways. All right, man. You've done so much to help others and grow your business, but when was the last time you felt truly vulnerable, and how did that moment shape you? I'm sure this hits home with all the personal and family things you've had going on in the last year, but is there one that comes to mind?
So, yeah. 2024 was a hard year.
I'm willing to bet that's probably the hardest year of your life.
It was very difficult.
If it wasn't, God, I want to know what the other one was.
Well, it was a lot of medical issues. Golly, man. Fuck. So just a little history on it. And I might get emotional on this one. I'm not gonna lie to you. I battled, diverticulitis for a very long time. I self-medicated for, 15 plus years.
Yeah.
Okay? For people that don't understand what diverticulitis is, it's where you basically have holes in your intestines. Food that's not digested gets stuck in those holes, and then grows bacteria, inflames.
And it
swells
hardens,
up.
right? Like,
It swells up to where you basically you can't go to the bathroom, and then you have to take heavy antibiotics and or surgery and have that done, and it's very dangerous. People die from it.
yeah.
And so I self-medicated that for years, because I didn't want to go through that process, and it got to a point to where self-medication did not happen, and so close to rupture, of my colon and had to go, surgery. So the most painful recovery time in my life. Could barely walk. Had to use a walker. It was just miserable. Got an email the next day. I'm not going to go too much into what the email was, but basically it was changing the business model of who I was working with, and they wanted to pull out and go a different direction, and was going to change the whole brand of the Hustle brand. And I've worked with these people for years, and it's a very emotional time. And so I'll never forget laying in the hospital bed, doing probably what I shouldn't have done, but checking emails, and the day
sending pictures to people,
sending
I'm
selfies.
good, bro.
I'm good, man. I'm high, but I'm good. I checked email the day after surgery when I first woke up, and I saw an email saying, "Hey, we're going to go a different direction," yada yada yada, and that was a hard time for me, and because there's nothing I could do. I still had.
They hit you at your weakest moment.
Yeah, and I still had 2 to 3 days of recovery in the hospital. I wasn't going home.
Yeah, you're not even going home. Yeah.
Not going anywhere. There's nothing I can do. I don't have a laptop. And so that was a hard time for me. It was really a hard time for me. And didn't have much motivation. And it was just, kind of sink or swim again, all over again, of what to do. Fast forward from that, obviously, got through it. Fast forward from that, beyond getting up there in age, and I had to go through, the testosterone pellets. I have those. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm against pellets, but yeah, go.
Hell no. So I got talked into that, and I tried that, and literally, I don't know, I started having issues immediately after it was inserted, and within a couple of weeks, I my body went septic, and I have this huge scar on my side from it. Had to go into surgery, had to remove it, cleanse the whole cavity, and all this nightmare. And it was just and this was dude, this is months from the other surgery.
Yeah, you're not even fully recovered from the other one.
And
y'all thought I was joking when I said that earlier. This dude has been through hell and back in the last 8 months.
And so it was, I went through that, got it done. That was obviously not a bad surgery. I was home the next day, walking around doing whatever. And but yeah,
But you're still not even fully recovered from the first major life altering life on the line surgery.
Yeah, and it's I went through that, and amazing support group, and but that was just one more thing to go through. And but obviously I got through it, but that was I still had to hold strong, because at the end of the day, it's not going to feed my team.
Yeah.
And so the goal, the ball at the end of the whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to say, it still had to be an end result. And so I had to put my big boy panties on and make shit happen.
Yeah.
But it's hard. Emotionally, it's hard. You learn who's truly there for you.
Yeah.
Going through that.
I mean, man, my heart goes out to you, and kudos to you, man. I hope y'all know, I can't believe he shared that much. That was not my intention with that question. But that is half the story. That is half of it. Y'all don't even know. But you just see he's burning the ships, man. He is not fucking going to quit or fail or let any of his team down. And I mean, I think that is the attitude and the mindset that a lot of people need to have, especially young entrepreneurs and people that are really trying to get out there and hustle and grind and do it, man. Like,
if you truly
the
believe,
shit's going to hit you when you're at your lowest.
It is.
Like, they're going to hit you. So if you're not prepared for it and you're not strong and you have not built that team and that secure foundation and you don't have those core values to fall back on, fuck, man. Like,
you're gonna be
how
tested.
do you get through that shit? Because you're going to be tested. You're literally laying in the hospital bed not knowing how much longer you have, what's going on. Like, I mean, I don't mean how much longer you have in life, but like, how much longer are you stuck here? How long is this rehab? Is life going to be what it was before? What alterations do I have to make? Like, you don't know that yet.
Yeah.
Like, you literally haven't even got discharged to go home, and yet, I'm going to say it, and this is just my opinion, but assholes, people trying to knock you down, are coming at you and saying, like, yep, we're changing direction. Hey, Will, sorry about your luck. Like, hey, this is what we're doing. You're not even in a position where you can respond.
Yeah. And this is in this surgery.
Nor should you in that moment, but, like, that's reality.
And this is surgery 3 months after we lost our biggest client, where I told you I had to double down.
Yeah. Like, you already lost your biggest client. You're doubling down when most people would have folded up. And instead of doing anything, you cut your own salary. You say, hey, we need more sales. The only way we're going to circum this is to, double down. Yep. Like, go all in. We're burning the ships. Add more sales guys. Here's the strategy. Here's the plan. This aligns with our core missions, our core values. We're going. Guys, we're not going to fail. We're going to go. I'm all in. If we fail, we're all going bankrupt. Like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And yet you get through that, and then life hits you. Not once, not twice, at least 3 times that I know of. And you're like, fuck. Like, when's it going to stop?
Yeah.
It's just raining constantly. And yet, man, you stayed true to your mission, your goals, your core values. And, man, the hustle is going strong. The foundation's going strong, man. Like, I mean, I don't mean this to sound cheesy or corny or just because you're here, but, man, you're truly someone I look up to and someone that I know has their shit right.
Well, you're taller than me, so you actually look down at me, but it's okay.
I'm trying to get as jacked as you, bro. Like, this guy's been in hospital beds. He ain't been working out, and I'm trying to get like Will over here.
I have pictures of me coming out of the hospital, and I was so small.
Yeah, you sent me a few of those. I don't know that you remember that, but
small. Yeah.
I was like, there's some motivation. I got small Will. Now I can compete. Now I can compete. Let me get my hustle on.
No.
All right, man. Man, like some of these questions seem so hard to even ask you now after all this because they've been.
Oh, go ahead.
What's the one moment in your life or career that you truly feel defines who you are today after all of this? Because you persevered through a lot of shit, man.
So, I mean, and to be honest with you, a lot of the questions are just easy to answer. But, like, even on that one, being so team focused.
Yeah.
I love our Christmas parties.
That's why I'm telling y'all, this Christmas gala, he's never done anything like this gala for the foundation. So before he finishes this, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but if you want to go support something great like the Hustle Foundation and be a part of this Christmas gala, I promise you just heard how he burns the ships. I promise you, he is burning all the ships that this first gala, it might as well be the margarita ball. I'm telling you right now, he hasn't told me a whole lot about it, but I'm telling you, be prepared. It's going to be the next, like, margarita ball in DFW.
Doing the Christmas parties for my team, seeing their interaction, their happiness, and them bringing their significant others and being proud to introduce them to me, that's 100% it. Because like they're proud of being a part of the brand.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how can you not be? I'm so mad. Like, he hasn't even brought me a hustle hat yet. I want one of those one of these days.
He hasn't asked for one. Don't let him lie to you.
I did last time we hung out at the Stag, but that's all right. I'll let that
Lies.
slide. We had a lot of your buffaloes raised. So I'll forgive you for that one. What are the top 3 non-negotiable habits that you swear by to keep your business and personal life running smoothly?
Can I say it again?
What are your top 3 non-negotiable habits that you swear by or standards to keep your business and personal life running smoothly?
I think mostly it's just like any career. It's work-life balance. But it's also my team understanding that they have access to me for any issues. Because if my team is running smoothly, then I run smoothly. And I think it's really putting them as a priority that really has helped that. But taking the time to educate them correctly, giving them all the tools that they need, processes in place, keep them from really having to interfere. I don't want to say interfere. Keeps them from really having to reach out after hours or anything of my personal life. And giving them that whole like support that where they're 100% confident for anything that they do before they have to reach out to me. Because I can tell you, in 3 years, actually 4 years, in 4 years, I've never had a team member reach out to me after 5 o'clock for anything.
All right, I want to challenge you on this. I like your answer, but I don't like your answer. I think work-life balance is an overused cliche. Because I don't think there's always balance as an entrepreneur in work and life and your personal realm. I think it's a challenge to do that, but I don't think that there's always balance.
Because you're challenging me.
All right, I'm challenging you. So yeah, drink as much of that as you want, because I do not plan on finishing that in any way, shape, or form.
I get it. So when I think of challenge, answering your question, I'm talking about from a team standpoint.
Okay.
From a work-life balance standpoint, I'm biased because my life standpoint is work. I literally love what I do. I do. And having a significant other that supports that is 100%.
Your significant other is either going to make or break you.
Exactly.
They can either lift you up or they can fucking hold you down.
It's a must.
Yeah.
And I was very clear with that at the beginning. Loving what I do, I'm always like available, always. And I'll, making time for your significant other is very important.
Absolutely.
But owning a successful business is truly understanding like it's not a 9 to 5.
No.
And you
Never
have to,
will be.
And you have to be clear with that. You have to balance that, and it's not for the soft. It's really not, and you really have to love what you do to do that. And just because my team is not reaching out to me late at night, doesn't mean that the clients are not reaching out to me late at night. And so I kind of played you because you said, you know, the way your question is, but I have clients that reach out to me throughout all hours.
Sales life.
Yeah, it's sales life, and we have international clients, and so, you know, we have clients in like Australia and Portugal and India and, you know, and other places, and, you know, and I'll get a call at 1, 2, 3 a.m. and like it's nothing, and I take those calls. But it's just really the understanding of your significant other, and understanding like, hey, this is their passion in life. It's not just a job. It's truly a passion, and so that's what makes or breaks you. Like, and I don't have any issue with it, and I try to plan it as much as I can, like to not have that issue.
Yeah.
But sometimes it
we've
takes
hit
place.
on a lot of those things.
Yeah,
but I thank you for the clarification,
But
because
sometimes it takes
I think
place.
that narrows it down a little bit more, because so many people say like, oh, find balance, you schedule your whole life. Like, anybody that's in an entrepreneurial or sales role knows there is no fucking balance.
There's not.
Like, you have to pivot and shift, and you have to make exceptions, and you have to do all these things constantly. Otherwise, you're going to fall flat on your face.
Well, if you love what you do, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But
Absolutely.
it's having that partner of you that understands that.
But there's also absolutely, with the partner thing. But, like, there are a lot of influencers and gurus that are over using the words work-life balance, in my opinion, that are like telling you like, man, if you got to do this much health and fitness, you got to do this much marketing, you got to do this much sales, you got to do this much, and like put it all into your schedule and prioritize it, A, B, and C, 1, 2, 3. Like that is bullshit.
Here's the thing, okay? A lot of those people that say that, I challenge people to do this. Look at their Instagram and look at the background. Okay? This is from females to males. Look at the background of where they're saying this. And if they're saying this in their apartment, and seriously, I have looked at, no bullshit. I have looked, and this is what I do. I do this for research on strategic play, marketing. Look at the shit of when people set up their little ring cam and they try to give you this bullshit marketing play. Look at the background. Look at their bedroom. Look at their bed that has no bedroom frame and it's sitting on the floor. Look at that. There's a reason for that, okay?
Yeah.
Look at the truth behind it, because you can't hide that. When you see that, just understand, like, okay, most successful people at least have a bed frame that's not on the floor.
Yeah.
Most successful people have a cleaner, or they take care of their bedroom and it's clean. There's not shit just laying all over the floor.
Their bed is made.
Their bed is made. Whatever. Pay attention to it. And it's small. It sounds so silly right now, but if you actually pay attention to that kind of stuff, you'll see majority people don't have that done. And it's insane.
Yeah. Look at the influencer putting the flashy shit out there. Identify one personal object in the picture. Whether it's them at the fancy house, them at the fancy car, the fancy boat, the vacation. What else in the picture says them?
Stay away from the word.
You do away with all influencers. Influencers is absolute bullshit.
Stay away
Like,
from
who
it.
wants to be influenced? Will, can I influence you? Would you like to be influenced?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Until you kiss my
Nobody
ass.
wants to be fucking influenced. You want to learn. You want to grow. You want to be mentored. You don't want to be influenced. So why all you guys follow and like and share influencer bullshit is still beyond me. Like I really wish I could figure that out.
Dude.
Like what that secret recipe is, I really wish I could, because like how you guys buy the smoke and mirrors so much is mind fucking blowing to me.
Don't do it.
All right, we're going to wrap this up. I know we started late and we've gone way longer. And I told y'all we were going to set a new record that fucking Will and I never talk less than like 3 hours. We both tell our fiance or wife that, yeah, I'm having dinner with Will. We're going to go meet for a few days. I'll be home in 2 hours. Yeah, no, never fucking happens. Never. So, what's next for Will Harris? What have I not asked you? What is coming up? What do you want to let the people know? Or how can they reach out to you? Y'all need some genius marketing. You want to like take your business next level. What do you got, Will?
Jesus, we're going to be here for another hour.
Well, no, don't give them the whole sales pitch now. You don't got to be the guy that word vomited to me today on the phone.
Right now my focus is on the foundation. It really is. It's trying to establish that, get it going, find scholars, donors, mentors, all the above, and I'm really trying to establish it and get it going.
All right, he's going to tell you that, and he wants to promote the foundation, and I'm 100% behind that. And yes, you guys should do that. But I'm also going to tell you, if you're struggling in this economy right now and you're having a hard time, you just heard about all the shit he's been through, the failures, I thought it was all going downhill. I doubled down on sales. If you need that kind of marketing, branding guy in your corner, yo, hit me up, hit him up. I will connect you. You guys want to like get the hustle behind you? Go for it. I mean, I want my guys to get on with this. I don't want my competitors on with this shit, but like, yeah, let's go. All right, man. If you had to summarize your journey, because I don't want to ask you the same questions we asked everybody at the end, because you already did that last time. But if you had to summarize your journey in one sentence for someone just starting out, what would you say?
Sink or swim is the best motivation that you can have. And it's just, don't start a business for money. Start a business for passion. And it'll change your whole way of thinking. And don't let these influencers or whatever downplay a 9 to 5. 9 to 5 is not a bad thing. It's not. If you want to do a 9 to 5 and then also have a side hustle, that's okay. And don't let people talk shit about that. Just do what makes you happy. And at the end of the day, do what fulfills your passion. And if doing a 9 to 5 is your passion, then do it. And you have, and that's why I have a problem with masterminds. That's why I have a problem with like influencers. That's why I have a problem with like these coaches. They fucking, I'm sorry, but like they try to like tell you what you want to do is wrong. And that's not the case. Do what your passion fulfills you. If you can find your passion and purpose, then you're winning. No matter what that looks like. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it's starting your own business. It doesn't matter if you're working for somebody. If you're happy with what you do, don't look at the money. Don't look at the materialistic shit. Don't look at any of that, because I promise you it's not worth it. If you can go to your career, you can go to your business, whatever it is, and you're excited about it and you can do it from day in, day out, and you're happy with it, then stick with it. Period.
Absolutely, man. Dude, thank you. I love you, brother. I'm so glad we got to do this again. Well, I'm sure we'll be a three-peat at some point. I guarantee it, because you guys eat this shit up. Thank you. This is 97 episodes. We're fastly approaching the 100th episode.
What are we going to do for 100?
We got some shit working. I can't say anything yet, but we got some stuff working. I hope you guys will enjoy this episode. I hope you will join us again next week. Sorry, Will got me a little hammered. He keeps giving me damn Buffalo Trace. I'm blaming him. Yeah, you even got one when they got caught up. Like,
flying like a kite.
yeah, Biz is even on one. Thank God we don't have him mic tonight.
Oh Lord, no, because we'd be here for.
Yeah, we'd be here for another 3 hours. But hey, I hope you guys enjoyed it, man. Thank you so much for listening. If you guys enjoy this show or know somebody else that would, please give it a like, share, follow. That shit really matters and helps us so much. And please go over and check out the Hustle. Check out the Hustle Foundation. I hope you guys will support this. And again, you want to play in the golf tournament? Hit me up. I'm going to get a team. We're going to be out there with these guys. Come meet everybody in person, man. I mean, you guys, there's so many connections to be made. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll see you next week. Peace.